All right, we're back with 10 more real estate questions for the 2025 exam. We're doing something a little bit different today. Today, we are doing 10, and we usually do 20. We're trying something different. If you're new here, what we do is I have 10 questions on my screen right now that I've never seen before, that hopefully you've never seen before. We take these questions like a quiz. We go through the question, the answers, and then it automatically grades us question by question, and we'll get the rationale and the definition of the answers so then we can study and then hopefully pass the real estate exam in 2025. Subscribe to the channel for more real estate test questions, more real estate vocab. There's 2 playlists down below. I'll link them in the description. There's a playlist for test questions and a playlist for vocab. We will be doing a live stream of 150 test questions, the practice exam, soon. So make sure you subscribe. I'll do a poll on the post to see what days work for best for you guys. If you miss it, you can always check the VOD. Now let's get into questions. All right, so as you can see, these are questions for the real estate sales national plus California, and these questions are on financing. We just did financing last week, vocab words financing for last week. So now we're doing real estate test questions for financing. Let's jump into it. Question 1, in return for beneficial loan terms, a borrower may decide to obtain this type of loan that has the lender sharing the appreciated value of the property. A, rollover mortgage. B, variable or adjustable rate mortgage. C, shared appreciation mortgage. D, graduated payment adjustable mortgage. Initially, right off the bat, I want to say shared appreciation mortgage. Decide sharing the appreciated. I mean, it looks like it's right there in the same question. So let's check the answer. Correct. Question rationale. Under a shared appreciation mortgage, the lender and the borrower agree to share a certain percentage of the appreciation. I think they had some like Cal Haffa first-time buyer loans that were similar to this. But hey, you get into a house, and if your house gains a bunch of equity, you might have to share a little bit, but you'll still be making money. Question 2. The taking of another person's rights and obligations in a pre-existing contract is known as A, assignment. B, novation. C, assumption. D, ostensible liability. All right. Initial thoughts are probably assignment or assumption. I want to say assumption. You're assuming another person's right and obligations. You're assigned another person's right. Pre-existing. So if it's pre-existing contract, maybe we'll go with assignment. Incorrect. So it was assumption. I had it. See, you just gotta read them. You gotta maybe go with your gut sometimes. Question rationale. Assumption involves the taking or receiving of another person's rights. Assignment is giving of a person's rights and interests under a contract to someone else. Assignment is typically without the release of liability. Novation does release a withdrawing party from liability under contract. So we go over what assumption is, which is the correct answer. We go over what assignment is, which is not the correct answer. That's what I picked. And then we go over novation. So three vocab words too in here to grab. Question 3. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer are approved for a $72,000 loan. Their monthly payments will be $9.35 per thousand for 30 years. How much interest will they pay off over the life of the loan? Oof. All right, so we got the calculator above us. We're gonna have to do some math, I guess. So it's 72. It's 72,000. So that we just do that. Wait, we can't. Okay, 72. So we know it's 72 times, I guess $9.35. The monthly payments per thousand for 30 years. 673.2. And if you do it by, I mean, this is the only thing that I got here. How much interest? That seems like so much. Let's try 673.2, right? Whoops. 673.2 times 30 years. Maybe that's the yearly. 201.96. On a $72,000 loan, they're not paying $673,000 in interest. I'm going to go actually with the lowest number. $9.30 per thousand for 30 years. I'm going with 170. It's just too much. It's I think it's 170 or 242. I don't know the exact math, but just looking at it. Yeah, okay. All right, so here's the exact math. 72,000 divided by 1,000 equals 72. Okay, we had that part. 72 times 9.35 equals 673.2. Oh, okay, 673.2 times 360 months is 30 years. Equals, then you have your principal and interest, and then you have to subtract it by the initial loan, and you get your interest. Okay, so I did by 30 years instead of 360 months, and then I never subtracted the principal and interest. Hey, that's a good question, actually. I like that one. Question number 4, a buyer agrees to purchase real property by making monthly payments to the seller and then receiving a deed at a later point in time. Such an agreement is known as A, certificate of sale, B, straight-term mortgage, C, land installment contract, D, construction loan. A buyer agrees to purchase real property by making monthly payments to the seller and then receiving a deed at the later point in time. That's not a straight-term mortgage. You get your deed, I think, immediately. Certificate of sale, I would say you get that. I think it's one of these. I want to say it's construction loan. Let's go with it. Incorrect. I'm getting close. I'm narrowing it down to 50-50, and then I just can't nail it. All right, the question rationale. A land installment contract is a contract for the purchase of property based upon the installment payment plan. The buyer will receive the deed only when the purchase price has been paid in full. A certificate of sale is issued to a buyer at a judicial sale, a foreclosure auction, which entitles the buyer to a deed upon confirmation of the sale by the court. A construction loan is interim financing used during construction, followed by long-term financing called a takeout loan. The construction loan does not convey any sort of title to the purchaser. So you can get a construction loan. It's assumed that you already have the title, I think. Certificate of sale is the foreclosure, straight-term mortgage. We know that's just your normal mortgage. And then your land installment contract. That's you don't get the title or the deed until you paid it all off. Question 5. What is the temporary loan made on a borrower's equity in their present home? A, package loan. B, balloon payment loan. C, blanket loan. D, swing loan. What is the temporary loan made on a borrower's equity in their present home? You make a loan on a borrower's equity. And the balloon payment is you pay the principal at the very end. I think you're only paying interest. Blanket loan. I want to say it's blanket or swing. Let's just try blanket. See, I'm getting it down to 50-50. I'm getting all these wrong, though. All right. Question rationale. A swing loan is the temporary loan made on a borrower's equity when they buy a new home with the present home unsold. Okay, so if you're trying to upgrade your home, basically, and you still have a bunch of equity, then you use that equity to swing it to the next property. That makes sense. That's a good one, too. Question 6. The law that requires a lender to disclose the cost of getting a loan is A, RESPA, B, caveat emptor, C, FHA, D, truth in lending. We know it's not FHA. I don't think it's caveat emptor. RESPA or Truth in Lending Act. The law that requires a lender to disclose the cost of getting a loan. I'm going to go with truth in lending. Hey, there we go. We got one. Question rationale. The cost of getting the loan must be disclosed to the consumer as per the Truth in Lending Act. All right, we only have a couple more questions, guys. If you guys want to follow along and you want your own study test questions, your own study vocab words, all the concepts, you want to take your pre-licensing courses, I have partnered up with Colibri, and they've actually given me a coupon code, BURKE40, BURKE 40, and you'll get 40% off everything on the website, including, like I said, the pre-licensing courses, the study exam, the study vocab, everything you want. Click the link below, help support the channel, and let's get back to the questions. Question 7, an alienation clause in a mortgage refers to the clause that A, says the entire mortgage is due if the owner moves outside of the United States. B, allows the lender to call for a full payment of the mortgage because the owner transferred ownership to another party. Sorry. C, allows the lender to charge a penalty for early payment. D, pledges the property as security to a third party. An alienation clause encourages lender to demand the full and immediate payment because the owner transferred or pledged to transfer the ownership of property in a mortgage. Security. Okay, so I think it's actually this second one. Allows the lender to call for a full payment of the mortgage because the owner transferred ownership to another party. They kind of gave us the answer, I think. Because the transfer to another property. Correct. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, you got to know what an alienation clause vocab is. Oftentimes called the due on sale clause. The alienation clause says the entire mortgage balance will be due on the sale of the property. The hypothecation clause is the transfer of property as a pledge of security for repayment of the debt. All right. Question 8. The note in which the interest rate varies upward or downward over the term of the loan is called the A/N, partially amortized installment note. That was A. B, fully amortized installment note. C, straight note. D, adjustable rate note. I'm going to go with adjustable rate. We're adjusting up and down. Correct. An adjustable rate note has an interest rate that can change over the life of the loan based on money market conditions and an agreed upon index. So the adjustable rate, if you're not locked into any rate, you can go way higher or way lower. Question 9, RESPA regulations would not apply to which of the following? A, the second or subordinate lien for home equity loans. B, first lien residential mortgages. C, one family to four family loans. D, a transaction financed solely by purchase money mortgage taken by a seller. By a purchase money mortgage taken by a seller. RESPA regulation would not apply to which of the following? The second or subordinate lien from equity loans. First lien, one family to four family loans, solely by a purchase money mortgage. I want to say it's C or D. If it's solely by a purchase money mortgage taken by a seller. Correct, D. All right. RESPA regulations only apply to loans financed by federally related mortgage loans, FHA, VA, or loans intended to be sold by the lender on the secondary mortgage market. RESPA applies to one family to four families homes purchases only. The final question of today, we will be doing the next 10 questions probably next week. So make sure you subscribe. This is the last question of the day. The note that calls for periodic payments on the principal, not including interest, and calls for a balloon payment at the end is called A, fully amortized installment note. B, adjustable rate note. C, partial amortized installment note. D, straight note. Fully amortized would be regular. Balloon payment at the end. Adjustable rate, it just changes your interest, but I don't know. Let's see. A final lump sum of the payment, yeah, we know that, to pay off the entire principal interest not covered by payments during the loan. So amortize is when you pay some interest and principal, or it's only interest. I'm going to go with fully amortized if it's only interest. Oh, okay. Partially, the correct answer is partially amortized installment note. The question rationale. Partially amortized installment notes call for periodic payments of principal only. The interest is due at the end of the term. Okay, so sometimes you're paying towards the principal, sometimes you're paying interest only. All right, let's get back to the classroom. Thanks so much for watching. We were pretty close. We were 50. We narrowed it down to 50-50 on a couple of those questions. I think we did all right. Screenshot the questions, write them down. We're studying together to pass the real estate exam in 2025. It's going to be a big year. We're halfway through the year already, so we got to study hard. We got to keep it going. Thanks for watching again. We'll see you on the next video. Please subscribe.